What's up, guys? Got James Croughton today, and he has great energy. He is an introvert, as he self describes himself, but he gives great examples in this episode of how to get out there if you are an introvert. So, for those of you that self describe or identify as an introvert and have a little bit of trouble maybe reaching out to agents or kind of figuring out how to find your groove there, this is going to be a great episode for you. We do get into some high level stuff about where your passion is and letting fear drive your decisions and not letting fear be a motivator. So there's some really cool mindset, I think, talk in here that you're going to enjoy hearing how James thinks about it. Fairly new in the industry. He's done a couple hundred inspections, but he's obviously off to a great start getting in the industry post COVID. So for any newish or newer inspectors, I think there's some good examples in here too of good customer service and taking it a step further. Like he talks about housewarming parties, and I'll just leave it at that to let you listen and hear what he's talking about. And then the positive energy piece at the end. So listen to the end and hear how he thinks about who you surround yourself with and how that kind of dictates more than you think. So enjoy the episode, guys. Thanks.
Yes, you guys have been phenomenal with our business. I love it. Um, but yeah, so great, glad to be here.
Yeah, thank you for joining. It was a clear fit. I think you clearly have a good energy about you even online that I could tell just from the way you interact and stuff. And so
Yeah,
I'm glad we can make it happen, man.
glad to be here. I'm glad to be here. Yeah,
So let's jump in. Yeah,
sure.
let's I guess tell people kind of just the recent history. I think that always helps for people to know how long you've been in the business, kind of where
Okay,
your journey came from to get here, and then we can
sure,
dive in from there.
sure, absolutely. Great question. We launched our business 2 years ago,
Mhm.
and we launched business 2 years ago. And the reason why I got this industry is because I'm married to a realtor. Okay, and um, she says, you got a keen eye, for this the efficiencies you find at home as opposed to being a home inspector. And so before I got into industry, my wife and I bought many investment properties in the past,
Mhm.
Airbnbs, rentals, and we always had inspectors go through. And the inspectors we hired were recommended referrals from realtors, Google, stuff like that. And so we had the inspectors go through. He or she would go through a house and basically quickly go through it, document the things catch their eye, and they'll give me a report and leave. So when we took possession of these properties, I started finding there's actually these older homes, Kevin. I started finding water intrusion, electrical issues,
Mm.
foundation issues, asbestos, you name it, I found it. And this was not one inspection company, it was all of the inspection companies we hired.
Mhm.
And so I started asking my neighbors, my friends, I said, hey, who'd you guys use for inspectors? They said, I won't give out any names. So they said, I'll say XYZ, ABC, one,
Yeah.
two, three, four. I said, how were they? The words were exactly this: terrible, sucked, awful, never use them again. And so that's why I started making me think, like, why is that? Why is it such a detriment in our industry? And
Yeah.
just inspectors going through it so fast and treating a house like a Rolodex. So be my wife, actually in the industry itself, and she goes, like I said, she goes, hey, you got a keen eye for this. Why don't you become in the industry? Got a great personality. You're like a people person. You love talking to people. I mean, you and I could sit online talk for hours, about stuff. So yeah, that's one reason why I got in industry, and it actually it's exploded. I mean, like it's blown out of the water. I gotta tell you, my friend, the first 2 years, I think I got 153 Google reviews right now. So I sit here and talk to you.
Yes.
It's growing as I speak, because in our industry, Kevin, it's built on three letters. I say this: built on KLT, know, like, and trust. Right? We have to know you, like you, and trust you. Right? So,
Let's dig into
yeah.
that. I like that. I love that as a
Okay.
foundation.
Yes.
So how much initially did the wife's real estate network help? Did you leverage that at all? Yeah, how did you kind of get going from the beginning when once you decided this is where I'm going?
Yeah. So I decided. So what helped leverage my business was mostly word of mouth. When I started doing this work, I was getting a lot of calls from like investors. It was real slow, like, right. That did help with her being in this industry, but it also really helped was getting my name out there. go to networking events, put on social media. Um, People, basically you got to talk to people. That's how you grow a business, by relationship,
What kind of
talking to people.
networking events did you hit up? Like, what was some of the early ones? If you could think back, I know it's probably 2 years ago at this point.
Well, I still go to them, actually, to tell you the truth.
Yeah,
Chamber of Commerce events, BNI, anything local in
yeah.
the area, I'll attend. So if I'm not doing inspections, either I'm marketing or networking per se. So that's what really helped me out, was basically word of mouth. And I still held on my day job at the time when I got into business. Before I launched my business, okay, so when I got my license here in Ohio, it was 2 years ago, we were still in the pandemic. The state of Ohio was shut down that whole year because of the pandemic. So I'll still do my courses, my classes, and I want to touch on what really helped me out was people. So in state of Ohio, you have so many credit hours, you have to do your courses, stuff like that. And so we actually had 40 hours field training. Well, even though I know the stuff by trades, I still had to get the hours in. And so I went on social media, and I put a post out there. I said, "Hey, who do you guys know?" I go, "Who can let me shadow him?" Some guys from New Mexico is like, "Hey, this lady in Toledo, she will let you shadow her." And she was been great. So I call her. She goes, "Yeah, come on up." So drove up to Toledo, and she let me shadow her. And she signed me out my 40 hours and my parallel inspections for the state. And guess what? She charged me nothing.
Oh,
She goes, "I want not one red cent. The only thing I want you to do, James, is pay for it." I'm like,
wow,
"Absolutely." That's
wow.
why. That's how I roll. That's how I am.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Not 1 cent. And so that's what I've been doing with my business. I've been reaping what I sow. I treat people how I want to be treated. And so when I get new inspectors call me or text me, yeah, come shadow me. I love it. I won't charge you nothing, because that's how our industry should be. Most inspectors treat the new guys come this industry as redhead stepchildren. And it's not. It shouldn't be that way. We all
No.
should be working together in the same category, right?
Yeah, I love it. It's refreshing. I want to
Yeah,
go back to something you said. You said it as if it's just normal for you, and I want to know where this mentality came from or how you developed
sure.
this. You said, "I'm not doing inspections. I'm marketing a network and meeting people." Like, that's
Right.
music to my ears because I preach that a lot to inspectors.
Yes.
Did How did you learn that? Was it instinct? And then if you could give some examples of kind of like how you approached the day early on, yeah, maybe a year ago when you were maybe like
Right.
not as busy as now.
So your question is, how did I
Develop
come
that
up?
mentality of, if I'm not doing
Yeah.
inspections, I'm marketing and networking, because I some inspectors will put off marketing and networking, and I never understand
Yeah.
because that's the lifeblood of your business. So I don't
Right.
understand anything
Exactly.
other.
Yeah, so a lot of it, I tell you, I was more of an introvert years ago, and I was never really a people person. I kind of broke out of my shell. What made me get into that mindset of networking is I put the I actually have the Facebook page. Okay, I got
Mhm.
the website. I send emails out. I send texts. Nothing, nothing. And so I think a lot of it was a lot of other inspectors on social media and friends who inspectors here in Ohio said, you need to get out and go talk to people, so they can see who you are, get to know you more.
Yeah.
I mean, we can stand here and say, I'm great at things of sliced bread. I offer all these tools. Here's all my tools. Here's my website. Here's my prices. Okay, great. What makes you different, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And what makes you different? It's how you talk to people. It's your personality. I mean, I always going to touch on one thing. When I do inspections, I tell my clients this: no home is perfect. My own home is not perfect, Kevin. My to-do list is like 19 right now on my list. I get gross daily. It's basically how we dress our findings is what really sets us apart. You
Mm.
know, Here's a good example. When I'm in the bathroom, blow dry my hair. It's a joke. I say that every
Yeah.
time,
It's
at the clients. Yeah, it's a joke. So, I said, when I'm with the bathroom, blow dry my hair dryer falls in the sink. And what happens if my GFCI, the GFCI will shut the power off. So I said, what's GFCI? And I do that analogy. That's what GFCI is. GFCI cuts electricity off when your hair dryer falls in the sink. That's how I explain my deficiency to my clients. I'm not saying all, but some will say, electrical issue is a fire hazard, replace immediately. It's basically how you fix your findings, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, um, back to your question, my mentality, I just started basically colleagues were saying, you need to get out. You need to get
Mhm.
out there and do this. So, just go out there. It's like dating, speed notes. Just go out there and talk to people and interact with them. You know, hey, how are you? How you doing? You know, and what do you do for a living? Oh, I sell carpet. Okay, great. You know, and how many years have you been in business? And they get talk about what you do. Oh, you're a home inspector. Okay, great. And you say, well, I offer this, this, and this. And that's leave it at that. And you start talking about them. Get to know more about them versus talk about yourself. Once you talk more, get to know about them, then they seem interested in talking about you. Because, like I said, it goes back to the three letters KLT. They have to know you, like you, and trust you. And that's how our business, my business, has grown. So,
I love that you self-identified as an introvert because I think a lot of inspectors can relate to that. And I think that's
yes,
very common in our industry. People work with their hands, they're used to maybe
yeah,
doing autonomous jobs. So I like that you said that because it can be overcome and done in your own way with your own flavor, right? And so
right,
yeah, I like that you said you ask questions, you get to know them. Um,
yeah.
was there anything you had to overcome in terms of the repetition of walking up and shaking hands with someone or asking for the face to face? Was there any what was that mental kind of battle like, if at all? Or was it just I know what I need to do to get the job done and this is it?
I had to basically, my problem weakness was speaking too fast. My mind's overloaded with so much information. I'm like, get out there so fast because I'm so nervous.
Yeah.
So I speak really fast. Sometimes when we're talking throughout this interview or process, you'll catch me speaking fast. I tell myself, slow down. Speaking fast, not being personable. And that's why I had overcome my speaking fast, my fear of rejection, fear of saying, no, I don't work with you. And it's hurts. It does. We're all human. It's like, you know, I don't want to hear that no, but we gotta come through it. You had to go through that to get used to it. So I think really helped me out a lot, Kevin, was um publicly speaking, let networking was like BNI really helped me out a lot. BNI helped me out, get out there, speak publicly and talk in front of a group of people. And I got a lot of constructive criticism back. And it really helped me out. I appreciated that. They're nervous to tell me, like, no, I love it because that's how I grow. We grow by constructive criticism. So that helped me out a lot. So that helped me out a lot. And a lot of colleagues, I mean, mostly on social media, like a lot of inspectors will say, this is how I do my business. You know, you might know a couple names, I won't mention names, but they say this is what we do. And they're growing. And I see that. And I say, okay, I need to do the same thing. And other people told me as well, yes, you gotta get out there and meet people. So
Yeah,
yeah,
great. So that all makes sense, and thank you for sharing that. I think that like learning how to overcome that shows
yeah,
vulnerability, and I think everyone deals with it. Like you said, we're all human. We all like feel like being rejected from the tribe would hurt our identity. Once you kind of so you made those connections and you got those first inspections from your seed set of agents, we'll call it. Let's talk about the organic growth from there because I
okay.
think word of mouth is the generic term for it, but like let's drill down a little for the people that like maybe are like, well, how do you get word of mouth? Like what is like
Right.
how do you just do that thing that turns your business into a beautiful blossoming thing? What do you think goes into doing so well for an agent to where they'll go tell other agents about you? Like that's
Yeah.
powerful.
Yeah. Great question. So there's a quote from Maya Angelou. She said this, and it's so true. It sticks in my mind every time I say it. People will never remember what you said. People remember how you made them feel.
Mm. I'm gonna write that down again because that's a classic.
That right there, my friend, is the golden ticket. Yes, it is. So what was your question again? I'm sorry.
No,
Basically,
it's like what went into that kind of word of mouth slash
oh,
organic
oh,
growth
yeah,
path because okay, say you accomplish what a lot of inspectors can't in this industry like you did, which is meet and win over a seed set of agents that try you,
okay,
that they give you a chance.
right,
Then
yeah,
what?
okay, that makes sense. Yeah,
And
yeah.
how do you parlay that
Um,
into a business?
right, yeah. So basically, how did I get these to trust me, get to know me? Is I did the full cold calling, I did the email, I did the texting. It didn't work. I think what I had to do mostly was I started doing open houses, going to open
Oh,
houses,
you did?
talking to
Okay.
yeah, going. I started doing that. I started visiting brokerages, and it was okay. I dropped myself off and like, okay, thanks, bye. But, it didn't really work. I think mostly like going to open houses and bringing like little gifts, little gift bags, and that helped out. Um,
So, and
I also
can I drill into that for a sec? Because
sure,
I think it's a great strategy. It's like you have a captive audience, an agent there that can't leave, and
yeah,
and then agents are coming in.
yeah.
Um, did you did that yield results because you left your card with them and then they eventually booked with you, or did you follow up with them?
I follow up with them. I
Okay.
call them, I text them. It takes 7 touches to touch somebody. A
Okay.
lot of things I'm telling you now was from other, like, what really helped me out a lot, Kevin, is listening to your podcasts, IEB, all
Mm,
those things I take in, I pull in, I merge like pieces together in my business. So no, it's calling them, texting them, um, send them like a thank you card in the mail, make a personal handwritten card. Thank you for taking a few minutes to talk to me at your open house. I love to work together with you, or then you need to find the social media, share their posts, like
yes.
it, comment on there. They see that. I met one
Yes.
realtor, he found me on Instagram. He sees me always liking his stuff. He calls me, he goes, I want to try you. You're a local guy. And so he uses me. Now he was like, I love how personable you are with my clients. And so he's like, yeah, so you're going to be in my top of my list, because you have to be still how they get, 3 names. So yeah, so
Great.
basically that's, it's, it's
The whole
hard.
package. The whole package.
Yeah. So it's like, I got to tell you, Kevin, this has been a blessing in disguise. My whole business exploded. Last week, I had somebody call me off Google for inspection in Cleveland. And I went out there. I never met the realtor before. I give 'em my handwritten card, a gift card in it. Say, "Thank you for coming to the open house." I'm sorry, "Thank you for coming to the inspection." She goes, they're like, "What is this?" Like, very rarely do you get buyer's agents come out to inspections. You just text us a code, here's a code, get in the house, that's it. That's what I do. I give them a card, I give a card in there, a handwritten letter saying thank you. And that means a lot to them. And I tell them, I say, "Thank you for much coming out here." Then I also say, in front of the client, "Thank you for Mr. Realtor XYZ being here because it's phenomenal. He's here. Very rarely did he come to the inspections." And it makes them look, and actually, it's true. It makes them feel good. It makes the buyers like, this is awesome. This is a great agent I got work with. And they see that, they hear it. And I think um, once you do stuff like that, make yourself different, it's what really sets you apart. Because,
I love the
like I
little
said,
things. Love the little
yeah,
things like that.
it's the little seeds, like you said, organically too. So in this business, it's organic. It's all organic. I'm sorry, but it is. It's like if I plant garden, you plant a seed in the garden, you don't expect a fruit harvest that next day. It's going to take time. You water, sunlight, give it time, give it grow, get your name out there. People are going to know you eventually. Just start. You got to get out. You got to get behind the keyboard and just get out there and start meeting people. I mean, you can have the greatest brochure, but what sets you apart? You got to think outside the box. Why am I different? Why am I this typical home inspector? What makes us a lot different, Kevin, is I allow the buyer to come around with us. Here's why. I listen to your podcasts are huge. Floyd Gibbs,
Yeah.
his wife's family. I listen to podcasts that help me out a lot. I got friends on social media. I want to give a shout out to Amy and Tanya, the special ladies in Texas. They've been phenomenal, great friends of ours. The things they do, we take in. We help each other out in the industry. And so, but back to what I'm trying to say, I had the buyer follow me around, ask me questions. Here's what I say. I say this: "Congratulations, you offered to be accepted. I'm so happy for you. What's your concern about the house?" They tell me. I say, "Trust me, no home is perfect. Everything we find, we'll get to walk through it together. I'll show you what I find. I'll explain how to fix it, and we'll go from there." And I want them to follow me. I want them to be transparent. I want them to know everything about this house and more. And I always tell my clients this: my job doesn't end in inspection. Please call me, text, and email me. And they still call me, texting me on after they buy the house, after they move in. I said, "Call me, please." And they still call me. Our company was invited out 3 times last year to open to housewarming parties for our clients. We're now best friends.
Really?
I say yeah, I say that because they text me like, "Hey, check our fireplace out, or a new addition, or a painted fireplace, or hey, check out our new pergola in the backyard." And We've been going out for quite we go cookouts, barbecues. It's nice. It's friends. We're friends. And that's how our business should be grown is organic relationships and being treat people how you want to be treated. That's the golden rule, my friend. That's the golden rule. That's all it is, you know.
Oh, I love how much you're talking about treating people and being friends and letting them, like that's genuine care and people feel that. And that's how word of mouth, and and you would answer the question perfectly of like, how does word of mouth organic stuff grow? It's because you clearly give a shit and like really
Yeah,
care about people.
exactly.
And
Right.
um the fact
Yeah.
that you got invited to housewarming parties says it all.
Yeah.
I think that's not normal. I think that's unique.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's I want to make people feel like we're family. I tell clients that we're family that day when we do inspections. When I go in a house, Kevin, I have a lot of older homes here in the area. And when I walk in the house, I treat a house like I'm buying for my mom and dad, my daughter. I'm very thorough, very detailed. I tell realtors that because if like, do you think, well, he's going to be alarmist? No, it's quite the opposite. We're thorough and detailed. You do not want your client calling you back 3 months down the road, like, hey, your inspector missed this. He will overlook that. I got this happening now. You don't want that. That's why we're thorough and detailed. But I tell Joel, let's try it. I tell everybody when I inspect a home, I inspect them. It's because I love the house. I want you to know more about the house than you know about yourself, your own car. A house has many memories and stories to it. If I can go in a house and hear the walls talk, you can feel the love, the emotion in it. You can see the memories, the holidays around it. That's how you should treat a house. Like that's your first love, right? Treat it like your first love. Take care of it. Show your client what happened, what caused it, and how to fix it. Because inspectors, we can call out all deficiencies we want, but it's how do you fix it? How should I take care of it? Most of refer to electrician. Okay, why? Refer to plumber. Okay, why? Right? Refer to HR. Why? They want to know why. And so I think that's what sets our company apart too. So
And I love it because you can articulate it. I think at a basic level, everyone thinks they set themselves apart with how they communicate, their customer service, how they treat people, but like you clearly are telling stories that tells me you take it a level deeper. And that's why when I teach new inspectors like the marketing side of the business, I try to refer them to people and stories like yours where it's like, oh no, it doesn't just mean showing up and saying the right things and then
right.
delivering the report.
Yeah.
There's so many middle
No.
little details that go
Right.
into a great inspection experience. And clearly it extends well past the inspection for your people if they're inviting you to housewarming parties.
Right.
um,
Exactly. Yeah.
well, so how have you guys handled kind of the current environment conditions, anything of note that you're seeing out there in terms of the last, like 6 months, I'll say last 6 months, a lot of people in different markets have seen a slowdown or at least a pausing of the rip roaring market we
Yeah.
had after COVID. What are you seeing out there?
Actually, I'm seeing it quite the opposite. The market's still hot. People are still
Wow.
buying. Yes, they are still buying. Um, So we launched a business in 2021, 2 years ago. Okay. I look at my numbers last year. My numbers are blowing out the roof. I mean, I was
Wow.
booked. I'm like it's crazy. It just comes in. It's I don't see a slowdown at all. I really don't. They're still buying homes. Um, I think a lot of it people worry about the it's hard to explain, but I remember the interest rates were like 17% in the early 80s or 16%. We got spoiled. We got spoiled low interest rate. People are still buying houses. I don't just the demand's still there. I mean, as soon as our house gets in MLS, it's in contract within 3 or 4 days if
Man.
it's like a new ready house.
Wow.
Older houses, you might sit a little longer because they might need some work, but they still go in. I mean, but realtors are still have a lot of cash offers coming in. Last couple of realtors I work with, their buyers cash, cash conventional and FHA and VA. So it's still going.
So it's still
It's
booming for you. And you're in Ohio, right? So
yeah, outside Cleveland, the Cleveland
okay,
metro area.
outside Cleveland. So could be some certain regions. You're right where I'm hearing that South, Midwest, still booming. People
Yeah.
still moving there. Is it a lot of people moving from out of state or a
A lot
mix?
of
A
some people are
typical mix?
actually first-time homeowners. They're actually moving in state or moving out. Yeah.
Okay.
So I've been seeing a mix of both.
Have
Mostly
you
plumbing. Go ahead.
Yeah, have you kind of moved in the traditional path of like add more services, think about bringing on more inspectors, increase prices? Like, are you kind of expanding the vision as you're growing?
Oh yeah, that's what really helped me out a lot. Is your software has been phenomenal. If you ask me what's my greatest tool in my business right now is Spectora. Because without Spectora, I'll be like a dinosaur. I really would. I'm upselling. So we offer a lot of services. We offer sewer scopes, radon testing, termite inspections, mold testing, commercial inspections, package deals. I mean, every ancillary service you think of, we offer. And so that's what sets us apart too. A lot of mold testing. A lot of clients call us for mold, like, hey, I have suspicions of mold. I mean, I see a huge uptake in that. And so we do a lot of mold testing, a lot of commercial inspections, you know, um, a lot of services that, yeah, it helped me a lot. Like a lot of client realtors like, oh, can you do WDI? Yeah, we
Sure.
can. Oh, great, awesome, cool. I need it because like yesterday I had inspection. Realtor forgot. I was like, oh shoot, my client's VA. Can you do the termite? Like, yeah, we can do termite. Oh, sweet, awesome, thanks. Forgot to tell you. Like, that's no big deal. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's all Spectora. I just download a template and fill it out. It's easy.
At what point were you at when you did start to add on those other services and start like kind of expanding?
So, when I before I launched my business, I wanted to make sure all my licenses were in order. So when I got my home inspector license, I also got my radon license like 2 months later. I got my termite license termite license 2 months later. I started getting all my ducks in a row because I knew in my heart when I was going to launch my business, it's going to explode it. And my
Hmm.
friends were like, "Don't get busy." And I was like, "What? I don't see. I'm going to be busy. What? I don't know. I don't want to end it down the road. You know what I'm saying? I want to get because I know I'm going to be busy. I was like, I don't have time to get my license. So I get all my licenses for all my services in order. So um basically I just did all when I started out, before I launched my business because I was
Oh,
still holding on a job too at the same time. So yeah,
I love that.
yeah,
And I particularly love that approach because when you have all that done earlier than you think you're ready for, you get it done ahead of time. Once the business grows exponentially, the revenue curve goes a lot higher because you're offering all these other things and you're capitalizing on it as opposed to, well,
right,
let me do that next year. And then you don't really
right,
capitalize on the growth of
yeah,
business. So it just
yeah.
allows you to grow that much faster.
It helps a lot. I think I'll tell you, action's been phenomenal. Like when my clients call in, we try to upsell our services, and they say, "Oh, okay, no, not really," but we still send email text out like later that day, like, "Hey, you forgot to add your services on." And they look at this, and we type out the importance of like sewer scopes, radon, or
Mhm.
mold, and other stuff. It's like, "Oh, we should add on." So they reply back, "Hey, can I add on termite or can I add on sewer?" Like, yeah, absolutely. And so I love it. That's what
Oh,
that's where the revenue comes in is the ancillary services.
that's
You can
that's great. Let's dig into this because like I think
yeah,
the everyone thinks, oh, you upsell them on the phone, and that can happen sometimes, but some
yeah,
people are naturally going to be resistant to anyone selling them on the phone, right?
right. Yeah, and plus when they schedule online, like when they schedule online, I love it. Like I see it and like online booking come through, like, oh, sweet, really, really, oh, okay, cool, awesome. Well, then they schedule the inspection, then they'll do like just like or one ancillary service,
Yeah.
like radon termite. And so email or my software actions will send out emails like, hey, we offer these services and we also offer a package deal with that. Like, oh, really? And so they reply back, okay, let's do the package deal, because we don't
Uh,
we like value savings and values. And so that helps out a lot.
so
Yeah.
you wrote some good action like upsell emails if they didn't book the
Yeah.
whole package. Do you give them like facts or like what? How do you stress the importance of say a sewer scope or rigging on to them?
So I explain, I go like, so like a sewer scope. I explain like a new build, okay, you don't have cast iron, but you still get required sewer scope because especially new builds, we've seen like PVC joints not put together right.
Yep.
And, or in cast iron because cast iron deteriorates from inside out. I touch the importance of it in my email and text. Radon, I explained about the health effects of radon, um, lung cancer. I talk about the importance of termite mold. I talk about the health effects of mold. A lot of clients have like mold in their blood system. There's there's mold in my house right now as you speak, Kevin. It could be dormant, it could be active. We don't know. That's why we get air tested. And so I just touched a little bit pieces about that. make them think about what they're missing, and like,
Yeah.
oh gosh, I should really do that. And when I go to the inspection and they don't sign up for my services, I was like, hey, you guys got cast iron. Well, what's that? I explained it about again, deterioration side out. I recommend sewer scope because you're responsible from your line to the street.
Right.
Or like pull an air filter. Like, you see how it filters this? They're like, yeah, it's dirty. Do you guys have high respiratory issues or allergies or like, yeah, we do. I recommend you get air quality test for your house. I'm like, okay, let's do it. And and I keep the equipment on my truck in case you want to do it. And
Yeah.
so I quickly go to Spectora, add it, have a signed agreement, boom, boom, done. You know,
Oh, this is like a master's class in upselling because you do it phone, email, in person, and you give them the opportunity, and you seem like you recommend with confidence because you know your stuff. And I think that I don't think we ask into this business enough for the business. I think some inspectors feel bad, and it's like, no, these are things homeowners need for many health reasons, and then also to prevent,
right?
sewer scopes 10 grand, 15 grand down the road. So I love this. So
Yeah. And go ahead.
Oh, no, no, you go ahead. Let's rip on it some more.
No, I was going to say, I'm glad you touched on that. But you said inspectors feeling bad about the services. Actually, your whole goal, like what I learned in IEB, is you have to have a mission, vision, value, and core. Why are you in this industry? Are you in it for the money? Or are you here to help people? I'm in it for helping people. You can't think about the revenue part. So you got to think about when you spot. Like I tell my clients, I sound like broke record to myself. I say it so much. Why inspect this house? I'm inspecting like I can buy from mom, and dad, and my daughter. I'm very thorough, very detailed. And I talk about the effects of it. Sewer scopes. It's going to cost a couple $100 to inspect just cast iron plumbing, right?
Mhm.
But if you don't do it now, you're going to pay a couple $1,000 down the road if that line will collapse because it will deteriorate from the side out. And it makes them think like, oh my gosh, let's get it done. Okay, so we scope it out. Actually, I got a story I want to tell you because I love telling stories. And I'm a storyteller. So I had a older house in the Metro Cleveland area. I inspected, and it was a younger, newer buyers, and talk about their homes. And I talked about the great things about older homes. I love older homes. Kevin, I could talk for hours about older homes. So much memories. Like I said, there's so much love and memories in the house. The hang new
Yeah.
beams, the more tent joints, the harder woods they use in older homes. I love it. I could talk about it. But make it a fast story short, I talk about cast iron. They're like, well, what is that? And I explained about it, how it deteriorates inside out. They're like, husband wife's like, should we do it? I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So we did a sewer scope. We scoped out the line. We found out it was cracked and right at the Y, almost at the street. It was collapsed.
Mhm.
Um, so I pulled my camera out, I explained it, the collapse. They're like, how much will it cost? And I ran the numbers, I gave them a price. And so I finished the inspection. Then the buyer's agent talked to the listing agent, and buyer, the seller didn't want to budge. And so they decided to go for another house. The buyer's agent thanked me so much by doing that because they said, I want to appreciate you by doing that for my clients because that means a lot. I mean, it's a whole lot to me. That's awesome. Because inspectors worry about like, you know, trying to appease the realtor, appease the buyer. No, your whole goal is to appease the buyer. You want to take care of the buyer. That's why you're in this industry for. This to throw it out. Yes, your fiduciary responsibility. Um, don't worry about the realtor. I used to think like that. I used to worry like, oh my gosh, I'm like buying too much stuff. No, they want you to find the stuff to help their buyer. So I had a phone call. I turned my phone on mute. So, but yeah. So, Kevin, I think you're muted.
Thank you.
You're
Yeah,
cool. I was like, wait.
yeah, no, thanks. My dog's panting because of the thunder and lightning out, so she's getting loud.
Oh no.
Poor baby. I think the display of your care, because you said two things. You said the deep care and kind of like nerding out around certain parts of the home. You can't hide that, and
Yeah.
people love that, right? So it's like you have to know your why. Like, why are you doing this? Because
Yeah.
showing your love for money doesn't really go over well when you're upselling
No.
services. You have to believe in kind of what you're upselling. So
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
you mentioned though, when the realtors see that, they probably will never use anyone else again when they see just how in depth you're willing to go when you're explaining these things, and just like you said, like the genuine care. Um, that's word of mouth. So I just wanted to highlight that, how you
Yeah,
bridged like the
yeah,
agent
it's so
witnessing
true.
you taking care of their client. Now they're like, oh, you're amazing. I'm never gonna use anyone else again.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like older homes. Like I see a lot of poor grading, poor and downspouts that very away from the foundation. I tell my clients, see the water coming this corner of the foundation? Like, yeah, it's from grading. What do you mean? I take them outside. I said, look how low the grading is sloped away towards the house. That's poor grading. And your downspout discharge right around the foundation. You take care of that, your problem's solved. Well, how do you do that? I explain them. I explain how much soil to bring in, slope it away from the house. Be sure downspouts are 6 to 8 feet away from the house. And I explain it. It's really easy to fix. It's basically, like I said at the beginning, it's how you explain your deficiencies, how you explain your findings to your clients, and what sets you apart. And when you explain to them that it's how to fix it, like I said in the beginning, 7 times out of 10 things we find are usually easy fixes, or 8 times out of 10 easy fixes, usually. So it's basically you got to think of a way to talk to people, but that really just boils down to more networking and talking and just get constructive feedback too. I mean, a lot of times I ask realtors, "Hey, how did I do?" "Oh, you did great. Did great." We got to remember one thing: we are our own worst critic, aren't we? I know I am. After I got this call with you, I'm like, man, I wish I never said that, or wish I slowed down a little bit. We
Right.
are our worst critic, aren't we? So,
Yep.
feedback is really good. Constructive feedback is really good. So,
It's a
yeah,
very underrated thing, asking for feedback, because it shows confidence, I believe. Most people think it's the opposite. I believe asking an
right.
agent, hey, how do you think my demeanor was with the client? Did I explain everything well? It shows you're collaborating. And I think every inspector from inspection one should bake that in as asking for feedback, because it's a beautiful thing to do, and it's a great signal to other people
Yeah.
that you care, that you're listening.
Exactly. That's so true. Yeah, you do want that feedback from realtors because you want so your whole goal, I got told agents that we work with quite a bit. My whole goal in my business is to help you grow. I'm not here for the money. I'm here for your buyer client. Um, because I've been in their shoes before. I've been down this road. I bought many homes. I had inspectors and they're terrible. And that's why I got into it. I want to help you guys grow. You need a good team. You need a good title. You need a good loan officer. You need a good home inspector, stuff like that, loan, title. And you need a good team. And so that's my whole goal is help them grow their business. And once they see that passion in you, and then it's just it's that's it. It's gone. It's done. It's you keep growing from there. Honestly, I told the wife yesterday the other day, I'm like, I gotta hire another inspector. We're so
Yeah.
busy right now, I can't keep up. The
Are
other
you
day she
are
answered my
you going to?
calls. I had um once I get more established, I will, yes.
Yeah.
My whole goal in my business is grow. Yes. Oh, absolutely. I do plan on growing. I do not want to be one man show because I want to grow, but I want to make sure the people I hire have the same personality as like me, the same morals and ethics, same values, and the same culture as we have. And so that's my whole goal. But um, just take one day at a time, my friend. So
Yeah. Do you have
yeah.
a rule, or like kind of like a signal that it definitely will be time to hire? Or is it just going to go by gut of kind of like, this feels sustainable enough this year to hire? Like, how will you know? And like, what's your rule or framework for that?
So this is actually last year was my kind of start year as the market was coming and going, but now it's just exploded. I think maybe next year in 2024, we're going to evaluate, look at back in each quarter our numbers and see where we're at. And once we come to a point that we can't take so much work, we're going to definitely hire another employee and an inspector. Then right there, that's another whole bowl of wax. Like
Yeah.
for listening to your podcast, like I heard it, like it's different category. It's going to be different. So I got to learn from about that. So yeah,
Yeah, because I mean, it's always a tough question to answer when inspectors say, should first hire be admin, back office, or inspector. And I know IEB has certain feelings around that, but
Mhm.
like, I could go, it's hard. It depends on how you run your business. Everyone's is different. Some is very back
Yeah,
office and phone intensive.
right, exactly.
You're an automation guy, so you have your actions and
Yeah,
stuff dialed in
like
really well.
Right, and I have my wife answer my phone calls too. Like in inspections, I have an extra iPhone. I send my forward my calls to her, and she'll answer them at the office.
Oh,
And
smart.
she really helps me out a lot. She does, yeah, she answers my calls. I don't have a call center. I tried to call center, Kevin. It was terrible. It's embarrassing. I won't give them any names, but I called one call center and they didn't answer the phone call. When
Oh.
I called, when they call, hello, this is I'll call so much inspection. How are you? Like sound like a robot. I'm like, there's no
Yeah.
passion in that, you know? And every time I talk to my clients, you're like, hey, the lady in your office, she was so sweet. She was so warm to talk to. I love it. She treated me like a person, not like an appointment. And that's what makes us different. And so she goes, did they really say that? I'm like, yes, they did say that.
That's
You should pat
cool.
yourself in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she does a lot. She does answer my phone calls. She does my radar pickups. She does my scheduling. She goes to network events. So she's helped out a lot. If it wasn't for her, I'll be swamped. I mean, yesterday, 2 days ago, I got 6 calls within an hour saying,
Wow.
that's a inspection. I was like, how's it going? But from my business, your business, I got slammed. Like, really? And she told me so.
She should
It's
ask for a
just,
raise. Give you, she should
yeah,
ask
she
for a
did
raise.
say that. She goes, I need a break. Yeah. She got a break. And our business comes like waves. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, I had
Yeah.
one realtor reach out. She goes, hey, did my buyer call you? I said, no. And so I'll reach out to her. She would call me, her buyer called me 3 days. I said, I'm so well, the buyer, when they go into contract, you got like so many days to get the inspection. The buyer called 2 days prior to the deadline. And she goes, do you have any days available? I'm like, unfortunately not. I mean, honestly, my schedule changes daily. You know, my right now I'm booked out to like next Tuesday. Um, after I get a phone call, I have to get a phone with you. I might get till Wednesday. I don't know. It's a daily thing. And a lot of buyers, they forget to schedule inspections. So it's just what I'm trying to get at, Kevin, is we don't have a 9 to 5 job. Our job is day in, day out. It's literally rotates. It just keeps going and going and going and going and going and going. So if you're like, "Well, do you want to be planning for Thursday morning?" Like, I might get inspection that day. And sure enough, 2 days there, I get online request for inspection. So it's just it's the nature of the beast, I guess, right?
It's a tricky dynamic because you can almost
Yeah.
never turn off or turn down what you're doing because you don't know how
Right.
long the sun's going to be shining, right? So it's like
Yeah.
you got to just keep
Yeah.
pushing because
Yeah.
the interest rate volatility has been crazy these last 4 or 5 months. And so hopefully that settles out and can give us a little
Yeah.
more predictability.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. That's true.
So what else interests you kind of about, where the industry's at, kind of like how you see things where they are, or are you just laser focused on like, hey, we have goals. We have goals we're going to hit this year and we're going to keep expanding services and people. Um,
I'll be honest with you. Go ahead. Sorry.
yeah,
Yeah, you're
yeah.
right.
I just wanted to get your general take on kind of the industry and where it's at.
Mhm. So, great question. So, I don't listen to a whole lot of news. I know about their interest rate, about possible recession. I'm not worried about that. I don't, I think once you turn off the news and focus on reality and look out the window and the door, the market's still growing. It's still
Yeah.
booming in
Yeah.
our area. Um, I think it's also beneficial for a lot of new inspectors to remember this is that I was the same situation. I still get away too. Do not let fear be your motivator. Do not let fear like, oh my gosh, when's my next inspection? Do not. I will tell you, I'm going to be very transparent with you, my friend. I'm very faith-based oriented business. I don't. I my faith over fear. That's how I roll in my business. Because it wasn't for my faith, I want to be where I'm at right now. I mean, honestly, there's nights Kevin wake up and I'm like, what's going on? How are we going to do this? Right? I wake up
Yeah.
3 in the morning like, thinking, it's like, no, it's like, no, no, no. And so that helped me out a lot. Um, I think in our industry a lot, there's a lot of inspectors are not thinking outside the box. A lot of them are old school and they do their way or highway. Um, I think a lot of them like just don't think about growing. That's the thing. You have to have passion in your business. You can't just go like, okay, I got inspection 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Main Street today. It's
Mhm.
you.
Yeah.
Do you? Where's your passion? You have to have a passion in your business. You can't treat it like a job. If you treat it like a job, then you're going to fail. Honestly, you got to have a passion. Treat it as a career, something you love, right? Like I said, it's the first love, you know. And so, like right now, Kevin, to tell you the truth, I'm at the point right now. Like my wife and I, we took a night off. Like we go out to dinner. We got to take some time off. It was great. I mean, I don't want to get to the point of burnout because I feel like at the point of burnout, I'm making my client do due diligence. I want to give them my full 100%. So I got to sit back, relax, rewind, recharge, and go back out. Makes sense.
Smart.
So
Very, very smart. Yeah, I love hearing
yeah.
keeping it fun. I'm smiling, and I wrote down the note when you said, "Do not let fear be the motivator," and "Where's your passion."
Oh,
One of those two is going to be the title of this
oh,
episode. So
I love it. That's cool.
that's great
Cool.
stuff. I think that's so good because, um, man, that really resonates with me with what I see out there. A lot of people being fear driven as opposed to what are you chasing? What are you striving for? Um,
Right.
and yeah, like we all get to own our own business and in an effect, like change our outcome and destiny. Like we have
Yes.
control. Like that's an amazing
Right.
thing, no? Like it's
Yeah.
it's cool.
Exactly. Yeah, I think a lot of inspectors need to realize too when you start on this business, you got to get make sure you be a good tax accountant. Start look at your numbers. Start saying like revenue. Yeah, you're making money, or you got your business going. You got software, you got the tools. But how are you running your business efficiently? I think really IEB is really beneficial for that, and also being around business minded people too, like chamber of commerce events. They'll help you grow your business. That helped my business out. IEB did. A good tax account. Where's my numbers from last year? You had a representative on your podcast from IEB. I think her name was help her jog my memory. What was her name? I
Aaron,
can't think
recently?
of it. Aaron, yes,
Yeah.
I love that
From
podcast. Well,
IUB.
I actually
Yeah.
listened 3 times.
She's great.
Yes, that was phenomenal. She said it's going on. There's a lot of things that we're not talking about is our finances. Where's our numbers? How's your tax? Are you saving more money for your taxes? So are you making your money grow? Who's use their bookkeeping? Stuff like that we never talk about. So you can be very expected, but you gotta make sure you run a business smooth like a good engine, like good machines. But I want to touch about something real quick with you is a lot of inspectors are on social media. New ones are trying to learn as they go. They're looking at a lot of negativity from a lot of inspectors on there. They're like, oh, be careful. It's a high risk business, or it's high liability. Well, everything's a high liability. He's like, you got to call everything out. You got to call this out. And honestly, it's like they're putting fear in these new inspectors, and it's not true. Honestly, you got to be careful what you listen to. You got to be around positive, mind-minded business people who are positive, uplifting, and help you grow. Those are what you want to be around with. You can't be around social media or negativity. Like there's a lot of inspectors in my area, and I'm not going to say who. I don't. I will never, ever, ever say negative about anybody. But there's a lot of inspectors in my area who are just Debbie Downers. They're just down and don't want to grow, and it's like they're so stuck in their ways. And just like when I got my business, Kevin, I wanted people. I called everybody in the area. They treat me like I had a stepchild. Like, get away from me. No, get out. Bye. See ya. And I'm like, why is that? That's terrible. How you go? You can't grow. I mean, like I said back at the beginning of this podcast, you reap what you sow, my friend. You treat people how you want to be treated. That's how you grow your business. You can't think about me, myself, and I. No, you can't. You have to think about the others people. You got to think of others because it's going to come back to you 3 times full. It's like karma. Goes around, comes around. So I keep talking all day, don't I? I'm a talker. He gets out.
No, what you just said is probably one of the most important, not to blow smoke up your behind here, but like that's one of the most important concepts in life is if you're gonna not protect who you're around and who you let be inputs into your life, it's the studies
Right.
are proven that it's like undeniable that that has an impact on your behavior, your actions, your thoughts. And so I can't emphasize this more that there's like an instinct in your head when you see someone speak a certain way on social media or in real life. We all have to listen to that. And like you said, the Debbie Downers, the ones that just want to say
Yeah.
everything's terrible, that's more of their view on the world. That has nothing to do with
Yeah.
you and I and how we want to operate and what we want to strive for. So I love that you just said protect your energy, protect decide who you
Yeah.
want to be around because you might end
Right.
up the average of those 5 people you spend the most time with, right?
Exactly. 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 Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And it's like, a lot of people are like, here in the state of Ohio, we're licensed regulated state. Before that, we were not licensed till 2019. And a lot of realtors are like, are you actually certified? Or are you internationally certified? To me, when I hear that, it's like, are you Republican or Democrat? No, I'm American. I'm basically a licensed home inspector. What's it really
Right.
matter,
Right.
So it's just, I think it's kind of funny, and ironic that way, but I don't like you said, like I said, it's basically who you're around with. You basically
Yeah.
you gotta be around positive mind, like-minded people. And I do want to touch on the fear factor real quick. So when I got into business, I was on social media a lot. That's how we found each other. But I started leaning towards the ones who are positive. There's a lot of inspectors I still talk to in Chicago and New York and Miami. We all help each other out. We was like, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Or text each other, pitch questions and pictures. We help each other. We're here to grow and here to grow. And that's why I love my circle of friends, your sphere of influence. You got to be around those like-minded people. And that's really beneficial. If you have a group, somebody you can lean on to, talk to, like a core mentor, absolutely do it. You got to find a mentor to help you out. So that's what would help our company out to grow where we're at right now.
That's
So
great. And then there's so many tools and softwares out there that you can use to stay connected to this circle of friends. And they don't have to live in your area.
no,
It's never
exactly.
been easier to have a relationship with people across the country. And so I encourage everybody, if you like James, if you like his vibe, if you like picking up what he's putting down, reach out to people and say, hey,
Yeah.
I want to stay around that energy because I think it makes or breaks businesses and people's lives. It's something I believe in to my core.
Yes, absolutely. That's so
Oh,
true. That's so true. I agree 100% on that. Absolutely, my friend. That's so true. Um, I do want to say one thing about my business is, um, I'll throw it out there real quick. A lot of what my business is based on was my faith in God. I'm gonna put it out there because it wasn't for that, Kevin, I would be just like in a wreck. Like fear. I was just like fear. Like, no, man, faith over fear. Just do it. Get out of the boat. Get out and do it. You gotta do it. Get out and do it. Do not listen to Debbie Downers, like I said earlier. Do less than negative people. Just get out there and do it. You are your own worst critic, right? Go out there and do it. Do it. Do it. Do it because life's too short. I tell my friends do it, and they do it, and I'm happy for them. And so,
ah,
like I said, looking around those positive people, help you motivate you. It's like it's awesome, right? It's
life
great.
changing.
So,
Oh, I
yeah, so
love it.
life exactly, yeah.
I love
And I
that.
want to shout out to your team of Spectora. You guys been phenomenal. I mean, your software has been like mind blowing for us, like from the emailing to the upselling to actions and to everything you guys do behind the scenes. It's been great. Like sometimes I Google a question, I can't find it. Like, where's that question at? So I go to chat. Chat's always there. It's great. It's awesome.
Oh, well, thank
So
you.
kudos to you guys up there.
Really
Yeah, you're welcome.
appreciate that. I
Yeah.
pass it along every time someone says that. We're 50 people strong that all wake up every day and think about this business and people like you and how we can help. Honestly, I tell people like we do our best and we're trying to just
Yeah.
improve and
Yeah.
that's the type of energy we're on. So thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Like a lot of realtors love software. Like I love how the summary page is right there in the front. I click on
Boom.
the summary, it's right there. Boom, I read an 80-page report. And like I do a lot of realtor seminars. They're like, is your report 80 pages? I say, no, more like 79. No, I'm just being facetious.
Yeah.
I start laughing. I say it. They're like, well, no, here, it is a big report, but you don't have to read the whole thing. I send them scary QR code, pull the report up on their phone, it's a sample report. Click on the summary page. Right there is all my deficiencies we find. And you click on it, send it over to your listing agent, boom, done, easy. It does all work for you. And they love it.
Oh,
A
that's
lot of
great.
videos. I mean, literally every report of ours is over 180 pictures. Over 180, about 30, 40 videos. A lot.
Wow.
You know,
Love that
yeah.
you use the QR code just to be like, boom, sample report.
Yeah.
That's smart. I like that.
Yeah. Exactly. So yeah.
Well, cool. Well, James, this is awesome, man. Thank you.
Yes, it's been
Thank
you
you for
too.
making this happen. Where can people find you? What's the best way if some inspectors want to network with you or get in touch? What's the best way for them to reach out to you?
They can text me. They can call me, text me, or my website, upclosehomeinspections.net. They can find me on social media, look up close home inspections, or type in James JC Croton on the Facebook pages, or just text me at 440-865-0763. Like, hey, this is Steve. I'm listening to your podcast. You've been great. I'm like, hey, Steve, where are you from? Just go from there. So
Awesome.
yeah.
I'll put all that in the
Yeah.
description, in the YouTube
Thank
description,
you.
the podcast description for everyone. But thank you. This has been a blast, dude.
Yeah, thank you. What now? Will I see you in Atlantic City this fall? For
I think
Inanachi's
so.
conference?
Yeah, I have to check the
Okay.
schedule. They're booking me
Yeah.
for conferences, so I'll have to see if my team.
Yeah.
is sending me
You guys
messages.
got a booth out there. I saw that in the roster. So,
Yeah, right on.
okay.
All
Oh,
right. Well, hey,
thank you, Jonathan.
take care. Continued
You too. Take
success,
care.
and we'll talk soon.
You too, bud.
All
Take care,
right,
my
brother.
friend.
See
Bye.
ya.
See ya.